Sawa, karibuni sana watazamaji. It's another Saturday, another learning day. This is a show for you with your main host, Gloria Kimari, Talembuendo Ovasio Amavili. We live from Influence Media. As always, wakiongozi msanii wenda Charles Marvelous. This is where music and legends are made. Tulisema hapa ni kuja kusupport wasanii na kusonga nao. Hayo yote 9-10 ni leo tunataka kusoma mambo kadha wa kadha kuhusiana na those that we live with some very special needs and some very special wants. And we have on board today mwalimu hapa atajitaja ambaye atatuelekeza kwa maneno kadha wa kadha kuhusiana na wale ambao tunaishi now within our community, within our homes, how to deal with those special needs, with some of those special needs and how to handle them. So karibu sana mwalimu Gloria. And you're looking awesome.
Thank you.
I like the
Fanti.
Iko poa.
Thank you.
So tell us who you are, your name, what's your profession and what you do in Embu.
Okay. Hello viewers, my name is Gloria Kimari. I'm a teacher by profession. So first I did Kenya Sign Language. Then later I decided to go and do teaching. And after that, I came to realize there's a need in the society. So I went back to school and I started training on special needs education. I've specialized mostly on deaf and the blind, but I've also done inclusive education. Currently, I'm teaching at Lions Primary, Embu. Mimi ni mzaliwa wa Embu, na mkaaji wa Embu.
Now, you've mentioned a very broad spectrum about the special need that you've done special. Ni ile ya kuongea na science. And Gloria Kimari, for information, we did the Mukonji ile ya special needs na and she was doing it very awesome. Leo sasa wewe sio kunini kuinterpret, tunaongea sasa. Tell us about the special when we talk of special needs, because in school you were told like now kuna starvation, hunger and starvation. Na mtu mwenye akona njaa she's as well, all is as well, a special need person. But now when we talk of you've specified and on a certain field, what are those special needs that you've specified in? That is in terms of umeenda ukasomea.
Now, I think first people should understand there is impairment and there is disability. So impairment is the loss or damage of a body organ. Maybe you lost your hand, ama your finger, ama your eye. So once you have impairment, that's when you have a disability. So a disability comes after an impairment. Now, you'll find that there are types of disability, ama categories. We have those that are deaf, hawana ability ya kusikia, and most of them hawana ability ya kuongea, especially if they were born deaf. But those that became deaf when they have grown, they had acquired speech, so they can talk, but they cannot hear. Okay, number 2, we have those that are blind. We have those that have low vision. Huyo mtu haezi ona mbali, lazima one kitu ikiwa close.
Karibu,
yes. And then we have the totally blind. Those ones cannot see, they can only use braille to write and to read. Number 3, we have autism, which is common in our society. Autism, sana ukiangalia mtu usijue if they're autistic, you have to stay with them. Then with time you're going to to the things anafanya is an issue. Now those people you cannot know unless they are assessed, ndo ujue. We also have those that are deaf blind. Haoni na haski. They are also there in the society. We have EBD, it's emotional and behavioral disorder. These children get angry, they are rude, they don't obey, they miss school oftenly, and other behavior difficulty they have. Then we also have physical disability. Sasa nile tunaweza ona. You can see huyu mtu hana mkono. That is physical disability. There are those that have the arms and the legs, but they have a bone weakness. They cannot walk. They can only support themselves through the knees. That is physical disability. Then we also add another category of those that have chronic illnesses. Maybe someone has a heart condition, ako asthmatic, they're also in the category. Then we also add children living in difficult areas. Maybe those that are child mothers. Mtu alipata mtoto kwa class 7, they're also in the category. We also have those that are orphans, hawana wazazi. We also add them there. So it's broad, but at least for today, we are going to enlighten more on that.
So before, because I would want us to major on autism and the emotionally challenged children. But before we come to that, you've mentioned something that when a young girl gets a child, maybe at a very tender age, and they are totally rendered as needy persons.
Yes.
How do we deal with that? Because it's so rampant within our society. Who is to blame? Should we blame a young child or a young girl at class, a young mother? Should we blame men? Should we blame the caregivers? Or who should be blamed at that point?
Okay, we cannot blame anyone because this is not a one-person decision. You see, there was a man and there was a woman. Now the child born is innocent. So I think us as a society we should take charge and the responsibility to enlighten these young girls. Because currently things have changed. It's not like our generation when we were young. Nowadays girls are maturing very early, and you find hawana information they need, that these things happen, and if you do them, there are consequences. So I think we should take the responsibility as that these girls should be enlightened more. Maybe we should have workshops for them. The government on they try to reach out to them, especially those that are in very difficult areas, because some of them they end up in that situation because of desperation. Maybe the parents are not able to take care of them. You find someone and a compromise to be able to sustain herself. So I think si jukumu la mtu moja, jukumu letu sisi wote
tuchukue hiyo. So can a young girl who has gotten pregnant, that maybe she was in class 6 and you mentioned that they are maturing so early, can they still go back to school and learn? Is it possible?
It is possible. When they come back to school, sisi walimu tuko ready, and we are able to accommodate them in the normal classroom. We've had incidences where you find it's a class 8 girl, she got pregnant, she went to got a kid, she came back to school, na akafanya mtihani. Some of them even do the exams in the maternity ward, and they are given the normal time and everything else that the others will get. And you find even teachers, they sacrifice their own selves wanashika huyo mtoto, that student afanye mtihani. So if a mess happens, unainuka, tunasonga. So there is a chance.
And before we veer love that, at what point should a parent maybe not, sababu unajua it is all about hii maneno ya mwili tu, unajua maybe you don't know that your girl is growing, ameanza maybe menstruation whatever, maybe there are some men kule ambao ni wajanja, wanajua msichana anakaribia kuvunja ungo. So at what point you as a teacher, at what point should a mother know that huyo msichana wangu ameanza kukomaa, inabidi sasa nimwambie sasa mahali umefika wewe anza kujichunga? At what point should the parent intervene to try to caution a daughter? Hii maneno inaweza fanyika anytime ukicheza cheza.
I think it should be as early as possible. Because right now with our CBC curriculum, we are teaching them about body changes in class 5. Not like before. And you as a parent, don't wait for the teacher at school to teach your child. It should be a two-way traffic. Mtoto ni wa mwalimu, mtoto ni wa mzazi, na mtoto ni wa society. So as a parent, teacher akifanya kazi yake ya kumfunza. Unajua mzazi pia insist they'll take the weight of what has been taught. So hakuna any specific time atakifika grade 5 is when you're supposed to tell them. Start training them early, because nowadays kids are very exposed. They watch a lot of things even in the social media. So as early as possible, hata kwa grade 3, talk to them. But now you start from known to unknown. You progress steps by steps.
So to our parents hapo, Mwalimu Gloria anasema we kama mzazi jaribu tu kutae msichana wako, mfunze hii maneno. Umesikia pia pale CBC hii maneno ya msichana ameanza kumea nini na kuanza kunini inaanza mapema sana. So ni jukumu lako kama mzazi, mwambie mapema tu na uanze kumfunza ili asije akaangua kwa mtego wa haya maneno. Let's now focus on autism, which is so common within our societies. What type of a need is autism, and how can we deal with autism, and can an autistic child learn?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Autism is a disability of which now an autistic child you cannot identify by just looking at them. So before, when a child starts growing, most of the time akona mzazi nyumbani. Now we want to advise our parents, as a child grows, there's the normal development stage, but you find kuna stage fulani mtoto akifika hafanyi the things that normal kids do. You know, we are humans. At times we tend to ignore. So I would advise, as the moment you realize this child kuna kitu haiendi kulingana na vile inafaa, it's good you seek help. So number one, once you realize ama notice kitu, it's good uende for medical examination. Medical examination ukienda, it's an assessment. Watafanya screening. Screening is whereby they are going to identify, is it true this child is autistic or not? If yes, they are going to do diagnosis. They find the level, the degree of the disability. So how do you know your child is autistic?
Yes.
Number one, those kids, they don't like maintaining eye contact. Mtoto hataki ku maintain direct eye contact. Number two, they have temper tantrums. Wanakasirika. And number three, they are also resistant to change. Ile kitu amezoea hataki ibadilishwe. You see? They are also very selective on foods. You find mtu maybe if amependa cabbage, it's cabbage. You cannot change their diets. You see? So those are some of the small things that once you notice them, they're supposed to seek for help. These kids can fit in our normal curriculum, integrated learning. Those kids, most of them are very bright, they do well, but they take a lot of time. So as a parent, you should learn to embrace these kids. They are normal kids, they can fit in the normal school system, so long as first to seek help. Once they are diagnosed autistic, you're going to find a way out. And then once you have the result that this child is autistic, you're going to go for education assessment. That's why they're going to give you a better school placement. Or maybe this school is best for autistic learners. Yes.
So do you mwalimu want to tell us that an autistic child can learn with normal children in a normal school?
Yes, they can.
Are you handling somewhere you are?
We have a few.
And sio maneno yao sio mbaya sana.
Yeah, they are not so severe. They fit very well.
So when you talk of these autistic children are so selective kule nyumbani, na mtoto ameanza, maybe umeona akuli hiki chakula, he's maybe becoming so selective on food. How should a parent handle that? Because maybe mzazi anaweza kufikiria tu ni ile mambo ya kawaida ya mtoto hataki kukula nini. So, mzazi anafaa kuleletanja na mtoto kama huyo ili isinje kuwa atamolest, maybe aanze kumpiga maneno kama hayo.
Okay. Parents should learn to be patient with those kids. So ndo nimesema mtoto, of course kids they select food. You find mtoto hataki uji, anataka chai. But you should not make a conclusion that child is autistic. You only conclude if umempeleka medical examination, akakuwa assessed, ikakuwa confirmed and diagnosed. So parents should be patient. Make conclusion very fast. So once you see a child amekuwa so persistent, taki to change from this to this, ako so selective, such things, please seek for help. Yes.
And at what age should is it notable? Ni mtoto akiwa mchanga sana, akiwa amekuwa, ama at what age?
As early as from 6 months. Yes. You find mtoto anatach so much to one thing. Maybe ukimpea a toy, anakaa tunayo, atafanya repetitive movements. If he starts banging, he will not stop. He continues. So there are things you can notice as early as from 6 months.
think there is so much to talk about autism. Hii ni kuanza tu maneno na mwalimu hapa Gloria, because we have a lot to talk and discuss on autism, because I know those cases are so common.
Yes.
Sasa sana vile tunaishi kwa sababu ya vile watu wanaishi. And is autism generic or what type of was it maybe a disease? What type of a disease is autism?
Okay, first we have different causes of generally all the disabilities, and we categorize them into three. The first cause is when the mother is pregnant. You find when the mother is expecting, alitumia a certain drug, ikakuwa an effect on the unborn child. Number two is using narcotic drugs, maybe cigarettes and the others. Zinaweza kuwa na impact ama negative influence to the child. Number three is nutrition. You find maybe umekuwa deficit of certain vitamins that are needed for normal child development. So for example, you'll find maybe a child will be born blind, hakupata certain vitamins, ama atakuwa born with weak bones because maybe hakupata enough calcium. That is now during pregnancy. Pia accidents, when the mother is pregnant, maybe she was involved in an accident, it can also lead to disability. And there are also genetical factors and issues come as a resource factors, those ones during pregnancy. The next category is during birth. You find the child alikuwa injured na maybe delivery instrument, maybe forceps, ina cause brain damage. You can also find prolonged labor. The child atakuwa na hatapata enough oxygen. Pia that one can lead to brain damage, which can lead to other different types of disabilities. Also during birth, hygiene. The medical experts, what are they doing? Is the place hygienic enough? There are also some things that can be led from that. The third one is after the child is born. Huyu mtoto anapewa dawa gani? How you feeding this kid? How do you watch this kid? Maybe alianguka akaumia kichwa, you didn't know. Maybe aliumia mguu. It can also lead to disability. The food you're giving this child. So we advise parents, the moment you decide you want to now get expectant, it's good to seek for help first. You should be checked. You know, there are things that are checked and can be found early, and you can be given a medication to control such effect that can come later to your child. Please make sure you go for your clinics, because that is when you're supposed to be checked and tujue kama kuna shida. Feed well. If you're feeling sick, don't go buy medicine over the counter. Please go to a hospital, be prescribed by a doctor. Usijitibu. Because that is one of the ways you're able now to control some disabilities that zinakuja from the things we do. I know of a friend who is deaf, and she told me the mother akuwa expectant, alipewa dawa, and now the drugs will lead to her being born deaf, but she's a very normal lady. Yes.
Kwa hivyo wasichana pia lazima mkue makini sana. Ukishika mimba bwana acha pia. Unajua kuna mwenye niliona mahali anachapashisha manze na kitu kingine wananunua kadogo kanatoa moshi nyingi na sherehe pia. Ndio unapata mtu wako na bola, lakini ile sherehe wanapiga hapa town ni kubwa sana, so inaweza kuwa ya kuaffect mtoto sana. So we cannot have enough time to discuss all those types of disabilities, how to handle them, how to deal with them. That is why, you know, we'll book you again some other time. But before we come to the conclusion of this one, we mentioned within our characterization about emotionally disturbed children. So can you tell us something about that?
Okay. For EBD, children, they are children that are behaving some that is maybe beyond their age, ama low beyond their age. So most of the time you find these children, their main challenge is behavior and emotions. They cannot be able to control them. You find that they are shy. They cry and get happy for no apparent reason. Number 3, they are so rude. You cannot, yani hawezi obey. They are hard to follow rules and instructions. And you also find wanapenda kumiss shule. They are absent for no reason. They can just find a reason, an excuse not to go to school. And these learners, tunawafunza tu in our normal classes. They're also very hyperactive. Mtoto haezi keti. Anataka tu asimame. They also like seeking attention. They can lie to seek attention. You see, they are distractors. Atatoka kwake kwa kiti, aende achape mwingine. No, that is what makes them comfortable. Distracting others. Ndio apate attention. So you find that these learners also, they fit in the normal school setting, but now teacher tu anakuwa na behavior modification. For example, you can tell them if they improve, you learn to gift them. If they do something positive that will improve their behavior, you can gift them. Maybe a pair watch, a sweet, a book. That is a way of behavior modification. Now they know if I do something good, teacher atanipea sweetie. Ama parent at home atanipeleka maybe somewhere I go and visit. Another way of modifying their behavior ni ku restrain. If wanapenda watch TV, akikataa kuimprove, you restrain them from watching TV. Ama kama kona simu, you can pick the phone for the moment until they're able to modify their behavior. So you can give tokens, now sweetie, books, such things to motivate them, and you can also restrain what they love to modify the behavior. You can also positive feedback. Akifanya vizuri kama ni class, ambia wengine mpigieni makofi, they'll be very happy. They'll know that now this is the right thing, junapigiwa makofi.
I think here leo manze inakuwa poa sana. I can even see that producer Charles Marvelous mwenye tuko naye leo pia kidogo anacheka pale, maybe he's learning one or two things. Najua pia kuna mtoto mdogo, kwa hivyo unapata marking scheme ya kuangalia vile mtoto ana behave anaendelea pale nyumbani. This is still it show for you with overseer wa mavili ni Muthuri Kimari Otalembu, we live from Influence Media wa Charles Marvelous, kiongozi msanii. This is where music is made at Nana Plaza along Mama Ngina Street. Unaingia hapo, unatafuta tu msanii pale, hata kama ni hapa kwa nini kwa Machuni. Unaona kuna machoks wengi sana pale wanaweza tema mistari. Unamleta hapa, unamsupport na chapa muziki, tunaisukuma kwa radio na kwa platforms zetu. So Mwalimu Mia is spewing a lot of knowledge on how to deal with special needs children. But Mwalimu, my producer, tells me, Munda ni kama umeisha, so you'll have to book you another time for another session, 20 minutes, sindio? So your parting shot?
I want to say thank you for this chance. I'm happy to enlighten you people about disability in the society. I would urge everyone watching us out there, please seek help, go for assessment. There's hope that child can fit in a school somewhere, and you can only be sure of that if you only seek help. With assessments, we can be sure that child kusoma. Don't hide these people at home. Watoe ndio wasaidike. Those people can be assisted. Kuna something called assistive devices kama hearing aid, kuna white stick for the blind, kuna braille machines, kuna wheelchairs, so they can only get help if wametokea. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Before you thank them and ourselves, you mentioned something about having workshops for maybe wale wasichana huko. How about that? Because now you see, so najua ndio serikali inajiform, and we can as well partner and have you do those workshops. How about that? Can you talk to some potential individuals out there? Maybe you look, you're seeming a very good and well-equipped teacher on handling those, and you're not even very old, very young. Yani mtu wa kujituma to talk to maybe.
Okay. This goes to our MP, Mokonji. I believe because we had a forum for people with disability a while ago, and I saw that he's very willing to support these people. I would urge him to continue with the same spirit. About the workshops, on this we need help from the government. We can arrange workshops maybe in constituencies. Kama leo ni Manyata, the other time we got from Yanges. we can announce prior the day. We can go to maybe schools, maybe in an area, we can give information before the day to it watu. The workshop will be of great help because we're going to reach out both to the affected and those that are not affected. On the workshops, you can also plan to have assessors. Ikiwa kama a small medical camp. Kama mtu akona mtoto ambaye akona shida ya macho, anaweza mleta angaliwe. Kama akona shida ya kusikia, anaweza mleta angaliwe. They can also seek help on where wanaweza peleka watoto shule, where they can enter hospitali for screening, and they can also get help. Watenda wapi kutafuta hizo assisted devices kama ni the braille machine, the white stick, and the others. So I believe workshop itakuwa of great help as also plan another forums. Yeah.
So your name again?
Gloria Kimari. Yes.
Mwalimu.
Mwalimu.
She's Mwalimu Gloria Kimari. Aya muthuri kimwana otari mbue we were with Jona. Na aliniambia za nikuwe na muita Jona wa Mbisa. Ama Jona mpiga picha na Charles Marvelous. This is the show for you until next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Sawa. Good.